For 2 years, I've stood watch over the train demolition site, the comforting rhythm of routine nights offering solace. But one fateful evening, the tranquility was shattered, replaced by an eerie symphony of unsettling events that would forever alter my sense of peace. In the cozy cocoon of my cabin, a steaming cup of coffee cradled between my palms, I was ensconced in the familiar embrace of solitude. The night's stillness was punctuated by a cry. Every instinct urged me to remain cocooned, to let the curious sound fade into the background. But duty beckoned, an unspoken code demanding my presence at the site. Dread curled in my stomach as I stepped into the sprawling field that was my realm. The aged locomotives and forgotten wagons cast elongated shadows, whispering stories of days long past. Some were destined for the scrapyard, while others waited for a resurrection through repairs. My flashlight cut through the inky darkness, casting a pale glow upon the forgotten behemoths. A strange, incessant buzzing hung in the air, its source elusive. It wasn't the familiar hum of engines, but something altogether uncanny. A sense of unease tightened its grip on my heart as the hairs on my arms stood on end. Amidst the disconcerting hum, a foul odor clawed its way into my senses, a peculiar blend of gasoline and burnt hair, so out of place in this world of metal and rust. The moment my flashlight beam illuminated the shadows, the buzzing ceased, swallowed by the void. "Hello? Is someone there?" My voice faltered, an echo swallowed by the night. But the shadows offered no response, and my words evaporated into the darkness. Then a jarring thud broke the silence, followed by the soft rustle of grass. My pulse quickened. Someone or something was lurking nearby. "Hey! Who's there?" I called out, my words slicing through the night air. The enigmatic entity remained shrouded, unresponsive to my plea. Could it be mischievous teenagers toying with my nerves? Shaking off the unease, I resolved to complete my rounds, chalking up the strange occurrences to youthful folly. A glimmer of light pierced the darkness, a beacon emanating from an abandoned wagon down the line. My curiosity propelled me forward, my steps cautious yet resolute. The light, unlike a conventional flashlight, flickered like a dancing flame, evoking images of an ancient lantern. As I drew nearer, a nightmarish tableau unfurled before my eyes. Within the wagon's confines lay a macabre spectacle, a circle of candles encircling the severed head of a sheep. Blood seeped from the wagon's threshold, pooling in the grass, a sinister spectacle that turned my stomach. The cries I'd heard earlier echoed anew, a haunting lament that now made a cruel sense. A guttural gasp caught in my throat as a figure materialized several cars away. Draped in a flowing black robe, a pointed hood concealed their identity. Fear constricted my chest. Every fiber of my being screamed at me to flee. With a heart racing, I fumbled for my phone, fingers trembling as I realized it had been left behind in my cabin, along with my coffee. A cold realization settled over me like a shroud. Danger lurked nearby, concealed by shadows. As if scripted by nightmares, 4 more hooded figures emerged, their presence amplifying the malevolent aura. A scream clawed its way from my throat, escaping into the night, a desperate plea for salvation. Adrenaline propelled me, every muscle firing as I sprinted towards my cabin, their ominous silhouettes closing in. Panic surged through my veins as I snatched up my phone and locked the cabin door. With trembling fingers, I dialed the police, my voice trembling as I recounted the harrowing events. Their promise of swift arrival offered me a glimmer of hope, a lifeline amidst the chaos. Minutes stretched into eternity as I clung to the phone, the distant sound of sirens heralding the cavalry's approach. My voice trembled as I whispered, "The cops are coming." The moment hung in the air, a tense pause before the storm. Then silence descended, a deafening void that sent shivers down my spine. With the arrival of the police, the oppressive weight of danger began to lift. But as their flashing lights painted the scene, the hooded figures had vanished, their enigmatic presence swallowed by the night. I led the officers to the wagon, a haunting testament to the horrors that had transpired. In the aftermath, the specter of that night never truly dissipated. The once familiar locomotives seemed to bear witness to the darkness that had unfolded, their hulking forms casting long shadows. I bid farewell to the night shift, my sense of security forever compromised. As time marched on, the unanswered questions gnawed at me. Who were those robed figures and what sinister intentions had brought them to the train graveyard? The investigation slipped into obscurity, the case left unsolved. After finishing my night shift at the gas station, exhaustion clung to me like a heavy cloak. My trusty car was temporarily confined to the garage, forcing me into an unfamiliar routine of train travel. While trains promised convenience, the infrequent schedule made me uneasy, especially in the remote area where I worked. A train rolled in every hour, a reminder of my dependence on its timely arrival. As the clock struck 11 p.m., I made my way to the desolate train station. Fate, it seemed, had other plans. Just as I reached the platform, the train whisked away as if teasing my tardiness. My heart sank, the platform eerily devoid of life, as though the train hadn't stopped at all. Alone and disheartened, I occupied myself with my phone, desperate to fill the eerie silence. The station itself embodied a scene from a horror movie. Broken lights cast feeble yellow glows that flickered like dying fireflies. The hum of machinery was a haunting melody, the only companion in this solitary realm. Stranded in a twilight zone, I waited, each passing second amplifying my solitude. And then, a figure emerged from the shadows. A man stumbled into the hall, his gait unsteady, a telltale sign of inebriation. Though my instincts screamed to avoid eye contact, my solitary presence was a beacon, drawing his attention. His slurred words carried an undertone of anger, accusing me of occupying his seat. To avoid confrontation, I yielded and shifted to the bench beside mine, hoping to diffuse the tension. Fatigue threatened to overcome him as he swayed, on the precipice of sleep. But in an instant, tranquility morphed into terror. His yelling shattered the stillness, my heart leaping into my throat. In shock, I recoiled, watching in disbelief as he unleashed his fury upon his belongings. Then, his gaze locked onto me, a chilling realization slicing through the night. In his hand, he brandished a gun, its presence a dire threat. I kept my voice steady, desperation masked by a facade of calm. His erratic behavior painted a clear picture. He was a powder keg, and my next move could be the spark that ignited disaster. His disjointed words held fragments of paranoia, accusing me of theft. A dire realization settled over me. This man was a ticking time bomb, a potential threat to my life. A shot rang out, the deafening crack reverberating off the concrete walls. My instincts surged into overdrive, propelling me into action. With my heart racing, I seized my backpack and sprinted around a corner, my feet pounding against the cold floor. The approaching train was both a lifeline and a fleeting opportunity. The man scrambled to reclaim his scattered belongings, the chaos buying me precious moments. As the train's distant rumble grew louder, urgency propelled me forward. My heart soared as I rounded the corner, the sight of the halted train a beacon of hope. Without hesitation, I bolted toward the open doors, every ounce of my being willing me to reach safety. The train was my sanctuary, its empty compartments a haven from the lurking danger. Breathless, I found solace within the train's embrace, the doors sealing shut just as the man arrived, his futile curses swallowed by the departing locomotive. Relief washed over me, the sensation a sweet balm to my frayed nerves. As the train picked up speed, the man remained trapped on the platform, his menacing presence relegated to a fading memory. Upon arriving home, I wasted no time in alerting the authorities, my voice shaking as I recounted the harrowing encounter. The police sprang into action, their swift response culminating in the man's apprehension. With my heart still racing, I clung to the knowledge that the threat had been neutralized, that my actions had potentially averted a tragedy. In the days that followed, my nightly routine bore a weightier significance. Each train ride was a reminder of the thin line between safety and danger, a lesson etched into my consciousness. The station's eerie ambiance served as a chilling testament to the unforeseen perils that lurked in the shadows. The memory of that fateful night remained imprinted upon me, an indelible reminder of the unpredictable nature of life. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.